Hey everyone, it's Jeff Fisher of High School Football America, traveling out to the old stomping grounds for HSFA, Southern California. Good friend of ours, Jason Negro at St. John Bosco. 2019 national champs for us and one of the top programs in the country with a huge game this weekend against Mater Dei. Doesn't get any better than this. He's up at 7:30 his time to do this interview. Coach, thanks for taking the time. And you told me before we rolled the tape here that you're a little tired. So I guess nothing has changed whether you're playing in the fall or the spring. Mater Dei takes a lot out of you, right?
Yeah, typically in Mater Dei week, you don't get a whole lot of sleep around here because they're such a difficult team to prepare for, such a quality program that Coach Rollinson has over there. So, you don't get a lot of sleep. You find yourself in the office a lot earlier and you leave the office a lot later at the end of the day. But it's all good because it brings out the best of you and it's going to bring out the best of our program Saturday night. And hopefully, God willing, if we play well enough, we'll have a shot to win in the end.
Talk a little bit about this rivalry for people around the country. I think since, well, we moved out there in 2012, since 14, it's, one of the top one, two, or three games in the country year in and year out. But for the people watching around the nation, can you explain what this rivalry has become?
Well, I think it's one of the top rivalries in the country, obviously, because the amount of talent that's on the field. I think there's 59 kids that are ranked or with Division I offers right now between the two schools that are going to be playing in this game. The level of play, the level of coaching, the atmosphere that surrounds it, the national ramifications. California is a hotbed for high school sports, especially in football. So when you have two teams that are playing, at a collegiate type level with just using high school aged kids, it's going to draw a lot of attention. And I think that what we've been able to do over the past 10 years here at Bosco and Mater Dei over the last couple of years is start to expand our brand across the country and play some of these national teams. And we've been very successful against them. I think we're like 9 or 10-1 against national opponents, over that span. And Mater Dei certainly has been successful as well. So when you have people across the country that know about our teams, and then we end up having to play each other sometimes twice in a season, it breeds a national rivalry. And then last year, Gatorade certainly helped us out by putting a national campaign out there using our two schools as their football national rivalries in terms of commercial throughout the NFL season. So it was great for us, and we're going to continue to do that. And as long as you're in a position like we are and they are to have talented people, good coaching, and a great atmosphere, we're going to have a great game.
And I love talking to you because we can go in many different circles. And one of the things I remember the most about maybe the first time I was at this big rivalry game is, yeah, you guys, you need to get at it, right? Everybody's a little juiced before the game. But after it's over, the friendship that you see amongst the student athletes is incredible. I mean, it goes from banging heads real hard to, wow, what a great honor to play in a game like this. Again, take a little bit of time here to describe that the fact is this is a huge rivalry with kids that really respect the heck out of each other.
There's a tremendous amount of respect, and you said it best. I mean, it gets fiery, it gets spirited. It gets a little contentious sometimes out there on the field. Because we are such great competitors. They've got a lot of kids over there in that program that want to be, winners. They want to play at an elite level, and they want to be at a school that's going to allow them to do that. So that's why they're there. And our kids feel no different. But it's really strange, like you said, when you get off the field, our kids know each other extremely well. They're also part of the 7-on-7 circuit. A lot of the kids play on the same teams, in Tomes. So they're teammates in the off season, but then they're rivals in season. And yesterday, we played our JV game, and that game was like an amazing game. It almost looks like a varsity game between two JV programs, but we ended up winning the game. It was 21-10. And then when the game was over, it was hotly contested throughout the game. When the game's over, you look at like our pavilion just adjacent to our stadium, and it's just a bunch of Bosco and Mater Dei kids and families talking and kind of chopping it up a little bit because we have a tremendous amount of respect, for their program. I feel that they have the same amount for us. And anytime you have an opportunity to mix it up against somebody who's really great, you're going to have that type of a situation. And there was a ton of respect there. And you got to give a lot of credit to Bruce and I think myself to embrace that.
And it does start with you guys, and that's what was going to be my next question. And I love both of you. Bruce is just, a quote machine, and you're becoming one of those, by the way. I don't want to make a one A and one B, but what I was going to ask you is about the respect you have for Coach Rollinson and vice versa, because I know he has it for you too. How did that develop? Was it always there? Is it just something that was simple to do? What was it like?
Yeah, I've always looked up to his program, and Coach Rawlinson has certainly done it for a long time. And I'll tell you a quick story. I was at Trabuco Hills High School, and we were part of the Edison Battle of the Beach passing tournament a few years back. And this is when Matt Barkley was the quarterback at Mater Dei. And I always we weren't at the level, nowhere near just a local public high school in Mission Viejo, and we're playing in this big Battle of the Beach invite tournament, down in Huntington Beach. And we actually had an opportunity to play Mater Dei in our bracket. And we battled them all the way to the end, and then Barkley ended up beating us at the very end of the game. And so fast forward to the last part of the tournament, it's the championship game. We're standing on the sidelines, me and my coaching staff, and Rollinson's getting ready to talk to his team. They were going to play Corona Centennial for the finals, he was trying to pump his team up, and he goes, guys, you got to get going. You got to get going. And, we're not playing Trabuco Hills in this game, so you got to be ready. And I'm like, hey, man, I'm sitting right here. What are you talking about? So I always just really looked up to him, and I've come a long ways from just we're not Trabuco Hills to now being a competitor and being kind of an equal here at Bosco. But the reason why I appreciate Coach Rollinson is because, he's at the latter part of his career, but he's still trying to learn. He's still trying to get better as a program. And I think that what we have done here at Bosco, and I think if you were to ask him this, he would tell you, we've made his program better. And he, in turn, has made my program better. And I think at the end of the day, that's what you want to do. You want to strive to be the best that you possibly can be. And if coaches really mean that, then you're going to have to act it, and you're going to have to live it and practice it every single day. Bruce Rollinson has made me a better coach because I've tried to get my program to the bar at which he reached. And I, in turn, because we beat him 6 straight years, or 6 straight times, through the, 2011 through 2016, we had beaten him 6 straight games, and he has now raised his level to where over the past 10, it's been 5-5. So that's great. It leads to us becoming a better program, trying to attract better kids that want to come to our school to be a part of what we're doing, and vice versa for him. So there's just so much respect. I hope someday when my career gets to the latter parts like his is, that people look at me the same way they do Bruce.
I've stopped asking when he's going to call it quits and hang up the whistle. He always gives me the same answer now. I don't have anything else that I like doing, and my wife doesn't want me around all that much. So.
Yeah, he told me that too. I always ask him, I said, Coach, don't you think it's time you can take a step, especially in 17? They had an amazing team in 2017. They beat us twice, which is, a rarity. It's the only time they've beaten us twice in a year. So in that 17th, I told Bruce, it's probably time you step down and move on. And he's like, what else am I going to do with that gravelly voice of his? But again, like I said, it's fun to be a part of these games, whether it's in the fall or whether it's going to be April 17th, 2021, playing a 2020 season. I'm just happy to have an opportunity to play against them because it's just so much fun. It's the best 48 minutes that you can ask for because it just raises your level of adrenaline. It raises the level of your blood pressure and your heartbeat and get you going. So that's what it's all about.
How uncertain were you that there was ever going to be a 20/21 game, if you will, with everything that was going down with, COVID-19 and just the back and forth of, should the game be played? 36 states are playing it. You guys aren't. Where was your energy and enthusiasm? And you told me before you had to do a lot of keeping the kids pumped up that, yes, in fact, we will be playing football at some point.
It was a big challenge here in California because they kept kicking the can down the road. Every time we got to a target start date, they pushed it off. And then we would get to the next target start date and they pushed it off. And I think they did that 3 times, during like an 8-month span. So it became really difficult to keep our kids motivated because you're trying to say the right things and they're listening to the same information that we're getting, from the state health departments or the county health departments and, all the stuff that's going on and you're seeing all of these things happening in front of you and you can't shield the kids from it because they're smart, they're savvy in terms of what's going on, and they started to lose hope. And then once we got into January and they postponed the January 8th start date, I really had reservations whether we were going to play or not. I started to get a little bit depressed myself thinking, God, all these things I've been telling these kids since last March is really going to turn out to be kind of a fabrication. And, I hope the kids don't, think of me as somebody that misled them because I've kept them going on this long. Because I was 100% certain in my messaging to the kids that we were going to play. And then once the governor kind of loosened some of the restrictions and allowed us to get back, I was like, gosh, I'll take what I can get, whether that's 3, 4, 5, or in our case, 6 games. And I could not be more happy about the opportunity.
What was the biggest thing that you had to do once you finally got the kids loose? And I think we talked about this last March when you and I chatted on the phone, which is, with all the information that was out there, you had kids at different levels, right? Some were like caged lions, ready to go out there and just hit and get back to the game they love. Some may have been thinking, well, do I have to be a little bit more tentative and all that? So for the coaches around the country, since you guys kind of had maybe the longest wait until you finally got going, was there any issues there with the kids? Was there a different message for each type, the lion versus the timid and all that?
No, it's like riding a bike with high school kids. We did a lot, even though, we weren't actually playing football. We still got to do a lot in terms of preparation and practice and 7-on-7 and some team periods and things like that. And we're a pretty aggressive group, just as a whole, whether we're in pads or not. Here in California, I mean, it's just kind of the nature of our kids. We're a physical group. Our kids kind of have that little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They got an edge to them. Being in Southern California, in the Los Angeles area, that's just that type of kid. I mean, we're a grimy type of group, so for our kids, it was like riding a bike. They hop right back on, put the pads on. We were able to go out there and compete right away. I didn't see a lot of timidness. I saw a lot of kids that were grateful for an opportunity. I saw a lot of kids that really, were starting to be really elated with the opportunity that they had to come back. Some of the, you saw smiles again. You started seeing personalities and, start to develop and change a little bit because there was some hope. And that was what the main message was here in California is we want to try to help the mental health of our young people. And by getting out on the field and allowing them to do something that they have been stifled of doing over such a long period of time, you were starting to see some negative effects of this thing from a mental standpoint. I'm just so happy that we were able to get back and to see kids smile again.
How's this going to help you? Because obviously you have spring ball out there in California, but you're playing actual games, right, in place of your spring ball, if you will. So how does this help you going into the fall? Because I know you won another national championship. You guys want to defend that title from 19. So is it a big help? Is it a hindrance? How are you approaching it at this point, even though I know you got a big game on Saturday?
Well, there certainly hasn't been any type of precedent set prior to this. So, I'm trying to do the best that I can. And I've told our kids, from last March, there's no manual, there's no textbook that says, okay, this is what you need to do during a global pandemic, and how you're going to operate and manage a high school football team that has aspirations to win, not only a state, but also a national championship. So, we're just taking it day by day. We're taking it a week by week approach. We're supposed to start spring ball this coming Monday on the 19th. So obviously that's not going to happen because we're just going to be, trying to get ourselves back after playing Mater Dei on the 17th. So we're basically going to shift the calendar a little bit. We're going to take some time off. We're going to get through the rest of the school year, and we'll probably start up a typical fall season with our summer practice. It's going to start the middle of June. So prior to that, we're going to treat it like an off season. We're going to get off of the field. We're going to work on our strength and conditioning. We're going to work on our speed development. We're going to work on getting our bodies in a position to be able to come back. We're going to talk to a lot of colleges and saying, okay, what are you guys doing in terms of preparing yourself? Because all those guys played Padded Springs. All those guys had the experience to do that. So we're going to lean a little bit on our relationships with those guys to find out what's the best case for us in terms of preparation for the fall that we need to put our kids through. And I think that we're a pretty talented group over here in terms of intelligence, and we're going to get our kids ready to play for the fall because we are going to be a really talented football team. We're going to play a national schedule. We got, I can't really release that yet, but we are going to play a national schedule and have an opportunity to be in the discussion to win another national title. Just based on the fact that we got an incredible league here in California. Our playoff system is top notch, one of the best in the country, and we're going to play some national teams as well. So we're going to be ready. How we're going to get there, I don't know yet. I got to worry about Saturday first.
And as it comes to the national championship and defending, I tried my best, as I've told everyone, to figure out how we were able to trying to get you guys in there and what we did in the fall. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out with our algorithm. But I will put a little pressure on you, since I know you like that national championship chase in addition to the state and the league. You know, you win this game on Saturday, that goes a long way toward that preseason ranking that we do. And you guys were #1 prior to COVID last year. So anyway, I'll just throw that out there for you real quickly. A couple of things to talk game wise. As you said, a lot of stars on both sides. And what I mean by that is the 3, 4s, and 5s that everybody looks at in the recruiting cycle. But who are some of the players on your side of the ball that you feel have played very, very well in a short and regular season that you hope will step up and get you close to that victory on Saturday night?
I think we have a couple collective groups that have played well, and we knew they were going to play well, even if we were to play back in the fall. So our offensive line has been phenomenal this year, led by Max Gibbs, who's a USC commit, Ed Riley, who's playing center for us right now. You know, those are our 2 seniors on the offensive line. We have 3 other guys that are underclassmen. You know, so the offensive line has played extremely well. They're a big physical group. You know, they're a veteran group, even though we're young. Ernest Green is a 3-year starter at the left tackle, and he's only a junior. So we got a talented group there. Mateo Uyangalele, DJ's younger brother, has been phenomenal playing both sides of the ball at defensive end as well as tight end. He's added a dimension to our offense. Our running backs, we have 3 of them that have really stepped up and played really well. Both doing a every other series quarterback thing here at Bosco, which is something we've never done before, but playing in the spring, not having playoffs has allowed us to do that. So we're playing Caton Hauser and Pierce Clarkson. Those guys have been just great. And then we only have 1 senior wide receiver at Jody McDuffie. And he's done an amazing job, you know, kind of leading that young receiver corps. So we're playing, you know, 8 kids on the offense that are underclassmen and 3 seniors. So I'm really excited there. On the defensive side of the ball, Andrew Simpson has stepped up as a linebacker and done a phenomenal job there. And we're only starting 1 guy on the defense that's a senior right now, and that's him. You know, so he's done an amazing job in terms of leading that young group. The other night against Servite, I think we played 33 different players on the defensive side of the ball in various packages. So I'm super excited about the young talent that we have. We're playing 3 freshmen in considerable minutes. We start 1 kid that is a freshman. So we've got a lot of really talented guys moving forward that we think that we're going to have a really good program here at Bosco for years to come.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And last but not least here, as we end this, you know, the NFL draft's in a couple of weeks. I know this is off topic, but you know what I've been kind of enjoying is watching some of these kids when I was out there in Southern California, watching you guys, you know, kind of come through the system and all that. How rewarding is it for you to see some guys that are obviously performing also at the collegiate level, but now may start to get to that Sunday level for you? And I know you've some in the past. So how rewarding is that for you as a head coach?
It's so rewarding for me to be able to see kids that have come through your program as just, you know, little juveniles, you know, kind of coming through the system. And then just knowing them as kids and knowing the personalities and how they've now progressed in their careers. You know, Josh Rosen is with the San Francisco 49ers, and Nico Falaz with the Broncos, and Jacob Tuitt and Mariner is with the Atlanta Falcons. So we got 3 guys in the NFL right now. We're super excited about what they're doing. And then we got guys on the horizon that are getting ready to go. Wyatt Davis is a guy, offensive guard, one of the top linemen in the country that's going to be drafted, you know, in this NFL draft in the first couple of rounds. And we have some other kids that are going to be coming up after him. So quite a few actually in the next couple of years. So we're really excited about that. And you know, it just talks about, you know, something about the development that we provide in our program to get kids to be able to play at the elite level in college football, and they're game ready as soon as they step on campus as true freshmen. And then they're able to put in a body of work at the collegiate level that puts them in position to be drafted in the NFL. So I'm just super excited about the fact that our program is just part of the process. And as long as we continue, you know, to do what we're doing here at Bosco, we're going to continue to pump out guys that are making an impact at college. And if they do their job in college, they're going to have a chance to play in the NFL, which is every little kid's dream. So I'm just really excited to be in a place like St. John Bosco and have a platform to be able to do that.
Well, Coach, always a pleasure to talk to you. You are you're a quote factory, just like Coach Rollinson. I know you're probably going to have a couple of words before the game and then kind of put that game face on and have some fun out there. Oh, that was the one question I was going to ask you. I haven't read. So what's the situation with the attendance out there for you guys? Normally it would be a packed house. So what are you allowed to do? How many people are going to be in the stands?
Well, talk about challenges. I mean, I tell you what, myself and my assistant Jesse, having to deal with, she's dealing with tickets and, trying to set people up. But the Santa Ana Bowl, I think, has 10,000 is their seating capacity, and we're allowed 3,300 because there's 33% capacity split between us and Mater Dei. So we have, what is that, 1,600, 1,700 tickets or something like that. That's going to go out to our people. And if you're lucky enough to get one, you're in a good spot. The crummy thing is we decided as a Trinity League, we're not going to charge for attendance. So these people are getting these tickets and, and they're probably selling them on the black market, or at least I would be doing, because I thought the other day, I go, God, if we take our 1,700 tickets and we sold them for, $100 a piece, we'd make 170 grand and we wouldn't have to fundraise for a couple of years. But it's tough, but we're managing it.
Oh, I love it. Hottest ticket in town that's free unless you've got it, and then you can do something on eBay or something.
Yeah.
Coach, thank you so much. Good luck Saturday night. Say hello to Coach Rollinson for me. And as you always say, go Braves. I'm not rooting. I just know that's the thing you like to say.
That's right. As always, Jeff, it's a pleasure being on your program. And like you say, go Braves.